Welcome to the New Song Cafe here at worshiptogether.com. Today we're here with Chris Tomlin, Louie Giglio, and David Crowder, and they'll be sharing the song Here's My Heart. So sit back and enjoy this New Song Cafe. Chris, Louie, David, great to see you guys.
Thank you.
This might be the first time we've actually had this particular group together on a New Song Cafe, and all built around this song, Here's My Heart.
Right.
And this song is a great example of the journey of a song. And Chris, let's start with you, man, and talk about kind of where the song started and, man, how it got to where it is now and all of that.
I had this little phrase I'd written down in my notes that I kind of keep as I have thoughts of songs and something that I think would like to sing or could sing. And it was just that the first phrase of the song, Here's my heart, Lord, speak what is true. And I was really going through a time where I was just really wanting to hear what God really thinks of me, to hear God's heart of who He says I am, because I'm so hard on myself, and if I don't do something right or get things wrong, I just so beat myself up like crazy, and that starts with that, and sometimes I begin to think that's what's true about me, and that's who I am, and I just was saying, God, I just want to hear you. I was just praying, God, speak what is true in my life, speak what is true to me, and here I am, here's my heart. It was just a real simple little thing, a simple little prayer that I was singing around the house a lot, and then we got together to start writing songs and started bringing the guys together to start writing some songs for this, for Passion and for church and for whatever would come. And myself and Louie and our good friend Jason Ingram we were around the piano at the house and at my house, and I started telling him this idea, and I said, this is an idea I have for this, and maybe we could sing this, have this just sung as a prayer. I just kept hearing it in my heart, and hearing it in my head, just as people just singing those two lines, and just sitting there with that, and just speak what is true, and then hearing God say those words and speak those words, and what are those words? And so obviously you go to wordsmith like Louie and say, what are those words that God would say and speak, and the song just started coming. Interesting thing is about this is that was a couple years ago, and it wasn't this recent song. We've sat with this song for quite a while.
Yeah, we actually sat with it for a long time that day, which was pretty awesome too, because sometimes the church needs a simple song that they can just breathe with and really resonate with what God's saying about them. And we wanted to create something that had that kind of space, but yet every word mattered. And we worked on it for a long time, just every phrase and digging into what was God saying in His Word. But then how could we say that in a way that didn't complicate this song? I remember we were writing in teams that day, and so the teams would split up, we'd come back together and sort of show what we had. And we came back down to the cabin after 4 hours of writing, this song, which a lot of people were like, seriously? And Jason sits down at the piano, he plays the song. We're all so excited because we've been moved by this thing for hours now. And Jason gets through playing it, and one of the other guys on one of the other teams, who will remain nameless today, he says,
footnote maybe in the video.
He's like, so what else do y'all have up your sleeve? Like, I know you didn't spend 4 hours writing this song. And I was like, that's it, man. That's what we've got.
Yeah.
And it just, sometimes it takes longer to write less than it does to write more. Yeah. And so we felt great about it, but we came with it to church a few weeks later, and Chris led it, and it was just...
I think the church was like, so tell me you got something else than this. The church was
It was completely a bust. I mean, it was just, we were so disappointed. It was like, that thing is lifeless. And we felt so much life in it, but it wasn't working.
Right, and I added other parts. I thought I couldn't figure out how to end the song, and I'd added other things, brought in other parts of songs I never used and other things, and trying to put things together, that's never a good idea, because that usually is a train wreck, and it was, and I just couldn't ever figure it out. And we come to Passion 2012 thinking that this is a song, still feeling the song, and not exactly sure how it's going to land, and I would put it in the set, and I would have it in the set for the night, for the session, and sure enough, I'd mark it out in the middle of just thinking, this is not right, it's not right for this moment, and I knew that, and somehow I just knew it's not right yet, it's not time, and so that whole conference went by, and this was one of my favorite songs, we never sang it, and we come through this whole year, and I started thinking, we need to sing this at church, this is a response to what's been going on at church a bit. I think this could be really good. And I remember sitting in a green room. I'm out on tour, and Brett Yonker, one of our leaders, is leading at I know this Sunday. And I just grabbed my voice memo and I said, I think this is it, Brett. I really feel this is a song that would be a great response. I think this is kind of how it should go now. And I remember just playing it down real simply. And he took that and started and led it at church, and it was like the church had never heard the song before. They were like, "Where has this been?" And I'm like, "I remember we've been trying this for about a year." And so it's like it just people
landed so huge that night, and I didn't know that had happened until you're just sharing that right now. I was giving Brett all the credit the whole time. I was like, "Man, what happened here?" But you finally figured it out, and finally let it settle. And I think that encourages me so much to know that. You know, sometimes we write something and we're like, that's it, I'm done. Yeah. And maybe several months later, it really clarifies, and it was so strong.
And just the timing of the song and what's happening sometimes within the church locally and even the church broader than that, a song will connect at a certain time. And it seems like this song was, I know when David sang it at Passion 2013, that night, it was perfect. I mean, it was like, wow, this is amazing. It was exactly what was needed following the evening and the talk and everything. And it's amazing how just the timing of it just seemed to fit. And something that started 2 years ago found its perfect place in that moment, which is, it's interesting how God works in that.
Yeah, and you know, David, this whole thing is another whole nother, we could do a whole nother webisode on this thing of somebody else taking a song and singing it, because there's so much in there. And I knew when I was thinking through these songs that this song was really special, but David carries a weight and carries a thing that is very unique to him that I don't have, and that I don't know anybody else has. And I think
it's called hobo. That's what it's called, hobo. That's what it is.
It's called hobo. It's called homeless. And other people would see it as like I think a lot of people can look at David and go, man, I really believe there's just something believable about his voice, the way he sings. There's something real authentic about it. And I thought this is a song that has those kind of words that needs to be coming from a real place. It needs to be coming, and I thought David could take this places that I never could, that my voice never would. And for one, that David was willing to do that, was willing to even think that, okay, that his heart was like, bro, I remember emailing him and he's like, I'm just in. And that's just a whole worship leading session right there, is a heart of like, man, I'm just in, I'm available. What do you think? And it wasn't like, I didn't write it, I don't know, that didn't come from me, I'm not so sure about that. That there was just none of that pride, none of that, any of that stuff in there. And he took it, made this song into something that I don't know it would have been that without his voice on it.
Wow. Well, David, why don't you play it for us?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. Here's my life, Lord. Here's my life, Lord. Here's my life, Lord. Speak what is true. 'Cause I am found, I am yours, I am loved, I'm made pure, I have life, I can breathe, I am healed, I am free. Here's my life, Lord. Here's my life, Lord. Here's my life, Lord. Speak what is true. Speak what is true. so simple, but my word, this is a response. I remember being there that night that Brett did it, and I just was weeping. It was just it just has such a build, and there's a longevity and a story sort of that unfolds in your heart as you're hearing these words and singing these words and saying these words that are truth. It's just, man, it blew me away. So as soon as that thing popped on the radar, I went, I feel that one right there, Chris. Come on. So yeah, it was perfectly set. I mean, following Louis' talk in that moment, it was just incredible at Passion this January.
Yeah. Well, walk us through what you're playing for those that are watching.
Absolutely.
Key of B?
Yep, and I'm doing the E minor. So we got to start with the 6 to the 4 to the 1. And that is what you do each time during the Here's My Heart. Here's my heart, Lord. So I'm doing the normal C form there instead of the 2 deal, but and then the G, I'm not holding anything down because it's sort of following the melody. Here's my, and a little hammer on the 2nd fret on the G string, just for fun, a little suspension there, and then the what do you call that? The B section, I guess we call it.
Yeah, there's really no verse and chorus in this song. That's one of the reasons it's taken us so long to figure it out. It's just an A and B section. It's like you got, and that's what I love. I feel like this song, it could flow any way. It's not have to follow this like a verse chorus. You can still in that A section, Here's My Heart, for a while if you need to, and you can go into the all the things that God says about you whenever you need to. It's like really just free flowing. I don't know if you'd rather ever do it the same way twice, man.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So the B section.
It's just the 4 to the 6 to the 5 there, and it's just that over and over. And so your C to E minor to D. And that's it.
Wow, man, great story. I really appreciate all you guys' insight in it, and thanks for sharing it with us.
You're so welcome.
Here's my